Welcome, everyone, to Aspiring to Inspiring. And I am here today with definitely an inspiring friend, a girlfriend, Rhonda Shear, who I met through networking events. And, she just really is an inspiring coach and a leader in what she does. And if we haven't already met, I'm Laurel Lyon. I'm the intuitive mentor. I'm a business coach with a therapy background. I help you find your ideal clients who are probably just right in front of you right now. So, um, today we're going to talk about LinkedIn, and Rhonda is the LinkedIn diva. And, today we were just talking about some things that are transpiring out there in social media, and it's an exciting time to be the LinkedIn diva. Welcome, Rhonda.
Thanks. I'm so excited to be here with you. How fun is this?
Well, I just love how passionate you are about the work that you do, sharing with people how to get seen and do business, make money using LinkedIn. And just for those who are watching live, I just want to share a little bit about Rhonda and her background. Well, Rhonda's coming in from one of my favorite cities, San Diego. And for more than 15 years, Rhonda has been helping CEOs and speakers, coaches, entrepreneurs in their business fields, helping them to gain visibility, credibility, and profitability on LinkedIn. And, her clients, she's able to show them how to average 5 to 10 appointments a week with qualified prospects and referral partners. And Rhonda's given thousands of talks on leveraging LinkedIn, and she's been on some amazing stages. And I'm so thrilled to have you here with me today to share with those who are watching the information and gifts. So stay to the end because Rhonda is sharing some really amazing freebies today that are going to help you get seen and heard and make money on LinkedIn. So, well, Rhonda, we were just talking before we went live about some of the stuff that's going on in one of the social media platforms, and Facebook lost $200 billion in profit share in leverage yesterday. He personally lost $29 billion. That sends a really big message in so many directions. I love the look on your face when I was sharing that information with you, because what does this mean for people from your perspective?
Well, you know what's interesting? LinkedIn, most people think of it as a place where you go to find a job, or if you are a recruiter, it's a great place to go find your next employee. But the reality is, most people never Google themselves, Laurel. But if you Google yourself and you have a LinkedIn profile, there's probably a 70% or better chance that your profile is going to show up on the first page. But here's the part that's really interesting that most people don't know. People are 2 times more likely to believe what they read on LinkedIn than any other place. So, what that really means is that you need to show up on LinkedIn the way that you want to be perceived because you don't get that second chance.
I totally agree with you. And I have struggled so much with my profiles, and I'm so glad that I met you because I'm up in my game with this. And you're right, Instagram, Clubhouse, Facebook, people read that, and as an interviewer, when I'm talking with people, I know that they haven't Googled themselves because they said, well, you know what? I'm looking for you and I can't find you. Or it says this or it says that. So it's such an important point.
It is. And it's interesting because I look at profiles all day long. And one of the things that I notice is I'll be talking to somebody that's super accomplished. Maybe it's an executive coach, or it's a CFO, or a CEO, or a CPA, or an attorney. And then I look at the profile and I see no banner and a picture that basically was taken at a wedding, or they're motorcycling with sunglasses or whatever. And then their headline just has their title. And I like to call those people the ones that are in the LinkedIn Witness Protection Program because nobody's going to find them. And
I
yet
love
they're superstars.
you, right, right. And I'm guilty of it too. Just I feel I can feel so much overwhelm for myself, and I'm in the business, but also for other people. And I think what you share really simplifies, chunks it down for people.
Yeah, it does. I actually created it as a system. I call it the three P's: present, prospect, or post, either way, and profit. And it all starts with, how are you showing up? Does your profile present you in the way that you want to be seen for those ideal prospects and referral partners? Most people don't even know that you can put video and you can put audio. And if you've been on a podcast, like you have so many guests that you so generously invite on your show, take this and put it on your profile for credibility and authority.
Well, it's the most expensive real estate, really, right? It's there. And I think we're coming to a place, a very critical place in how we show up. And I'm so glad that you brought that up because keep your pictures current, keep your information current, because there can be such a stretch between what you see there and then sometimes disappointment when you show up live. Like that's a very important thing. I come from real estate background. It was amazing to me how many, and still do it, 20, 30 years lapse before that information's brought current. And it comes back
Well,
to,
it's interesting in the real estate space, because I've done a lot of training with that. According to Inman, and it's a little dated from 2015, but Inman stated that about 43% of sellers will check out their real estate agent on LinkedIn before they'll hire them. And what I have found is that people forget to put their current website, their current email, their current contact information. And if you can't reach somebody, you're never going to be able to do business with them.
well, and does our business change from one month, 1 week to the next, right? That information I found with some social medias, that when they upgrade or introduce something, default settings get changed, that it's a good practice to just be in there regularly looking at your information, correct?
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to leverage the platform and book those 2 to 10 appointments a week, it only takes about 30 minutes a day if you have a system. I mean, think of it like cooking. I always joke and I say, oh, I'm the woman that has the sign, the kitchen came with the house. I do not cook, right? But I can follow a recipe and you won't get food poisoned. So if you have a recipe and you know the steps and you can do it in a half an hour, you can fill your calendar. It's really not hard. Mary Kay once said, is it easy? Can I do it? Does it work? Yeah. If you can answer yes to all of those, that's the secret sauce.
That's fabulous. Yeah. And so what would you say would be the a regular or a number one point for people to do with their LinkedIn to get more people?
Well, the first thing that I would say is get dressed for the party. And what I mean by that is make sure you're showing up as the professional you are. Do you have a banner? Do you have a headline? Have you completed every section? Is the information on there current? And this is the part where a lot of people forget. Do you have recommendations that are current? Because you are literally one click away. So when the greatest gift you can give to somebody, and I'm going to give you this gift when we jump off this call, is I'm going to go write a recommendation for you because you're an amazing hostess. You bring so much to the table. I've learned so much from you in our conversations. So if you can give somebody a recommendation, it's like walking out of your car and finding a $20 bill on the ground, because everybody is going to know what somebody else said about you, right? And it's always benefit driven.
That is, you bring up, actually, there's more than just one point here, because this really is how we support our friends in business. It's not about competition. It's about share, comment, and just go through the motions. You're there anyways. Give value. People notice that. I had someone say, you always tag me when you share my post. Thank you so much. She has really great posts, but now I'm on her radar, right? And I was doing it anyways, right?
Absolutely. And the thing that I teach people, which is so easy to do once you learn the system, is imagine you're not even putting out your own post. You're sharing somebody else's. So you're doing some great content. What if they just shared your post? Now what happens is they become, they become visible to you because they've shared. You get a notice about that. But what if you could go in and look at the people that took the time to comment and like on your post and reach out to them and invite them to a virtual cup of coffee that you are not selling anything. It's just, hey, let's just get to know each other and see how we can support each other.
Oh,
It's so
thank you.
easy.
Thank you so much for saying that. That's exactly, because those messages that end up all of a sudden and saying, "Hi, I saw you, and here's my group, here's my program." People, they go straight to block.
Yep.
Sorry.
Those are the people that do what I like to call the spray and pray.
Ah,
And it just doesn't work because, okay, I confess I'm a black belt in shopping, right? And I would walk into a store in the days before COVID when I really was a serial shopper, right? That was my stress release, retail therapy. And I'd walk into a store, and the first thing that somebody would say when there were people working at stores, can I help you? And I would say, no, I'm just looking. But the truth was, I wasn't looking. I was really there with my Visa card ready to buy, right? Because it's that old joke, men are from Mars and women are from Visa. So,
I haven't heard that one, but it makes sense to me.
yeah. And so if you think about it, in terms of LinkedIn, we really want to create relationships. And if the first thing somebody says to you is, hey, Laurel, I'd love to just, sell you my program. You're like, hey, wait a minute. I don't even know you. And you want me to take out my Visa card? Let's have a cup of coffee first and get to know each other. Let's get that know, like, trust factor going.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're talking to the kettle here. I became the anti-business card business person because it's like, here's my card. And it's like, why would I participate in that? So I totally agree with you.
Yeah, you just have to get people at hello. And I think one of the, I always learn from everybody else. And we were talking about this a little bit earlier. One of the greatest women that I've ever met in terms of teaching the pitch is Forbes Riley. And, if you do nothing else, just go and look at her YouTube videos on how to create a pitch, because it really is all about, you had me at hello, because it's an emotional connection and you want to know more. For me, I often tell the story about how I came to create this system and the why behind it. And I married the same guy twice. So I jokingly say, oh, I have a husband and a husband, didn't have to change my name and the kids are ours. But what really drove all of that was the fact that I had to go out and make money. And because I got divorced, right, in that 6 years that we were not together. And that's what propelled me to create the system, right? And so I just want to share it, because if I don't share it, then I'm keeping it to myself and nobody can benefit.
So he was worth marrying twice, was he?
Oh my gosh, yes. And I get 2 anniversaries. So I get to celebrate on February 13th and October 12th. And I call it 41 years with 6 off for good behavior. How's that?
So 41 years. Well, actually, that's more like 882, because if you've got 2 anniversaries in there.
It was 28, a break of 6, and then we remarried 6 years ago. I was a child bride. Totally a child.
There you go. Of course, of course. Well, see, that's what I love about you. Even this conversation just shows that nature in you about networking. And if welcome to those of you who are joining us live or on the replay. If nothing else comes from what you take away, it's about the connection and being interested in others. And you certainly have that. One of the things that we connected over is that we're both face readers, different methods, but we're face readers. And that is, face reading is about connection.
It is. It's really about developing rapport. And I was on a call yesterday with a lovely gentleman. I mean, really, and this guy was pretty amazing, I have to tell you. He puts together these massive summits. And we started talking about face reading. And I actually read his face, and he's like, I need to know more. This is amazing. And I was telling him how the book is coming out, and I have a partner that we're doing it together. And really, you can use this in so many ways. If you're dating somebody, you can look at your faces and see if you're compatible. If you have a business meeting with somebody, you can decide whether that's somebody that is really into the details, whether they finish what they start, whether they're artistic and creative, whether they're going to have the last word. I mean, it's so much fun.
Right. Well, understanding the work came to me at a time when I was in real estate, and it's like, how come people treat me this way? Well, actually, I learned people. You don't even figure on that scale, because people are just being people, and it's how they react to you. So learning that process gave me a deeper connection to myself. And my husband actually became a therapist alongside of that with me, because I was telling, because I'm a lot of work, right? My kids would say, Dad, can Mom come out with us tonight? Because they'd want me to read the guys that were.
Oh, that's really funny, because I've actually had my daughter send me a couple of photos and her friends, and they'll
Oh
say,
yeah,
"Hey, can you read this guy?"
yeah.
And it's super fun because it's never about judgment,
No,
and the first thing I learned was you have to be able to learn to read your own face, right? And
that's
once
what it
you
teaches you, right?
yeah, exactly. So, when you and I, right, both of us with our long eyelashes, what does that tell us? Well, the way I learned it is we're friendly,
I'm
right?
I'm into you. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, or you draw them in. It's like, yeah, we want to connect.
Exactly. And so it's just super fun. And I take that and I tie it into the LinkedIn, because one of the things that is really important in LinkedIn is, yes, you may get found. Okay. However, the reality is that it's way more likely you're going to get checked out. So somebody says your name, and the first thing you're going to do is Google them or go to LinkedIn. Their profile is going to pop up. Well, you're going to have a conversation. And what if you knew how to read that profile so that you could develop instant rapport? And face reading is a part of it, because you can look at the photo. And for example, if you see that person has really cool little dimples on their right side, right? You know that person has a playful side to them. So I can be a little playful with that person. But there's so many other things that you want to know. Maybe they volunteer with a particular foundation, or maybe they were in the service, or they belong to a group. You can look at that profile and create that rapport. Face reading is just the icing on the cake.
Well, I'm just so engrossed in what you're saying. It's just like my wheels are turning too. It's like it's so true. I've been a master face reader for over a decade, and have been teaching it. So when I hear you talk about it, I'm just delighted that else is sharing it from that perspective, because it's not the typical profiling that's used for, are they lying, blah blah blah. The type that we work with has to do more with, like you say, it's non-judgments. It's about understanding. We'd understand the reasons or the behavior behind why they would lie, hiding away. So
Sure.
fabulous. That's
It's
fabulous.
just fun because, it's all about developing rapport, and we're living more and more in a virtual world. We're meeting people on Zoom, and when we do that, you want to be able to create that rapport, because in 30 minutes, you want to know whether you're going to go to a second conversation.
Well,
It's not a sales pitch. It's just, hey, let me get to know you. Who do I know that I can introduce you to? How can I be a resource for you? Because it always comes from a place of giving.
Well, you just touch on so many important points, and connection now more than ever is so important. And when you first said too, like, how do you show up? like really, how do you show up visually? Being able to have that connection eye to eye is soul to soul. And if people feel like you see them, it leaves them with the feeling of, she really gets me. I'm really drawn in by what she's saying. So it can't be underestimated. When I've done interviews with people, and or just connection calls, and they show up one way, and then the next time they have a bad day, and then they show up looking like they just crawled out of bed. But unfortunately, that's the day that we're going live. It's like, you know, it's got nothing to do with me. It's got everything to do with how you're showing up. And I just love that you're sharing that with people and showing them how to be more impactful in their lives, because that's what we're all about these days. So
Yeah, and people want real. One of the things I think that makes me a little bit different from a lot of the people out there on the LinkedIn space is when you talk about posting. Here's the thing that's interesting. Most people and only 2% of the people are posting. So that's a very small percentage when you think of the number of millions of people that are on there and the number that are posting. However, what's really interesting is a lot of people are just posting stuff about their business. Well, that's okay. But what if you posted something that was inspirational, motivational, and every day you were looking forward to seeing in your feed something that made you smile, and you engaged with it? And, we talked about how I would marry the same guy twice, right? Well, in October, I did a post, and I showed a picture of me in 1980, the skinny little brunette married to a skinny brunette. And then I showed a picture of us in 2016, where neither one of us were skinny brunettes. And the post wasn't about, marrying my husband twice. The post was about second chances. And the question that I asked was, what would you do if you were given a second chance in business or in your personal life? Well, that post got over 43,000 views and over 418 likes.
wow.
And what was so cool about it was that I was vulnerable. I put those photos up there. I don't really like to show what I look like back in 1980. And, and I told my story, and I did it because I wanted to hear other people's stuff. And I got about 64 comments. So I would encourage everybody out there, show who you are. I even have a commercial real estate broker as a client, one of my huge success stories. And he posted about how he's now doing these ice cold deep plunges. Now, you wouldn't think a commercial real estate broker would get much talking about going into a tub of ice. But guess what? He sent me a message and said, Rhonda, you can't believe this post. It's going crazy. And it's all the people that I want to be working with. So go outside your comfort zone. I'm not telling you to go jump in an ice bucket, but be a little vulnerable and share who you are, because these are the people that are following you.
Yeah. It's about being authentic.
Yep.
Right? That's my word for this year, is authentic. Yeah. That's important.
It is. That's what struck me about you in the first time we had a conversation. You were so authentic. You talked about your background and, what you're doing. And you were so interested in what I was doing. And I was like, yeah, I want to be her girlfriend. Like, this woman is cool. Let's be friends. I really like you. And that's about that first impression.
Yeah. Yeah. So important. So welcome to all of those who are joining us live. Rhonda and I are kind of getting caught up in our own girlfriend thing here, but I'm here with the brilliant, the beautiful Rhonda Schur, creator of the Schur Method and the LinkedIn Diva. And she's coming in from San Diego, California, and I'm coming in from frosty Saskatchewan. It's minus 33 here today. I literally could walk outside and jump in one of those Cairo tubs. I just go outside. And we're having a really great conversation around the importance of how you show up and the impact that you can have if you're that only 2% of people on LinkedIn are posting in that way. Like that's quite amazing. And LinkedIn, I think, has been really powerful. I haven't had a real strong presence there, and I've just been learning all of this stuff in the last couple months about the activity that's happening. I have not been there as much as other social media, but there's more action on LinkedIn, which I thought, wow, what's going on here? And today, for those who may not have heard, that actually Facebook lost $200 billion in market share yesterday. Like, wow. So if you're on LinkedIn or not on LinkedIn, you need to connect with Rhonda. And you offer a phenomenal, like you have such an amazing offer. Your posting for profit. Would you just share about that, please,
Yeah,
Rhonda?
so I have a webinar. It's an introduction, but it really is way more than that because it really teaches the system on how anybody, even if you've never posted before, if you have a profile that presents you as the authority you are, you can use this system to learn how to book anywhere from 2 to 10 appointments a week. And my clients are doing that. And what I love more than anything is getting these messages that say, this worked. I just booked 3 appointments. I got 2 new clients. So there's actually a webinar today that's happening, and you'll put the link there. But if you can't make it today because maybe you're on Eastern time or you've already got some plans for 1 o'clock Pacific time, you can just send me an email and I will send you the replay. And it's fast paced, it's fun. And like Mary Kay says, it works, it's easy, and you can do it because I want everybody to have this. It's fun.
Oh, well, I have to ask you, were you a Mary Kay consultant?
Never. No, I was not. I just like what she says. And one of my mentors is Joel Bauer, and Joel Bauer quotes her quite a bit. And I think everybody needs to have mentors. We all need to invest with mentors and coaches. And there's never been a time that I haven't been with mentors and coaches. I joke, Laura, and I say I have ALD, addictive learning disorder. I'm just always learning something new because if I'm not growing.
Oh, I totally agree with you. I've invested heavily, and I keep reinvesting because of this thing that goes, what if
Yeah.
we don't know what we don't know, so we can only grow as far as we know to grow. So we have to. I learned that early on because I'm a do-it-yourselfer. Like I like being like that, but man, I was drowning. It was not fun.
Yeah, I'm a big believer, stay in your lane. And,
Love
so I don't do my own hair, right? Because I wouldn't go out in public if I did. I hire people to do the things that I can't do. And when it comes to LinkedIn, I think people don't realize how much credibility and visibility they have with this platform. And yet, they're really showing up like they're in the LinkedIn Witness Protection Program.
I
And
love
people are going there and they're kind of like, wait a minute, you said this person was X, Y, and Z. I mean, imagine you've been on podcasts, you've been interviewed, you've written blog articles, you have case studies. One of the greatest tips that I can give you is when somebody says how amazing you are and the amazing results that you've gotten. All right. Here's 4 words. I need your help. So I would say, Laurel, I really need your help. Would you mind? It would mean the world to me if you would just give me a testimonial about what you just said. And what I used to say when my kids were little was, oh, my kids never say anything nice. Would you mind recording that? But now my kids actually do say nice things. So I can't say that because integrity is my #1 value. But ask for it because when you get a no, you just go to the next one. When my daughter Stephanie was very, very young, I said to her, Stephanie, do you know what no means? And she looks at me and she goes, Mommy, that's the word on backwards. I'm like, okay.
from the mouth of babes.
So go for and she's a super successful talent acquisition person. And I'm so proud of her. But the truth is that you just really need to ask. Stacey O'Byrne, who's I learned NLP from, said something so powerful. Stacey said, make your ask, ASK, bigger than your butt. So ask people when they say something really great about you, ask them to record it, write it, because what somebody else says is going to be 1,000 times more powerful than what you say.
I love that. I wrote it down. I'm stealing that. So that's, I always say, don't assume because you make yourself, you know, but
You
this
make an
is
ass
better.
out of you and me, right? That was from the Bad News Bears, I think. I'm really dating
Oh,
myself,
that could
but
be. That could be. That's our time, right? So, so I want to thank everyone who's joining us live, or if you're on the replay. I hope you're enjoying all the information coming from Rhonda, the LinkedIn diva. I just love her, and she's so giving, and she's brilliant at what she does, and she shares so generously that please do connect with Rhonda. We've got people saying they're going to connect with Rhonda. You're smart. I know that already about you. I don't even see your face and I know you're smart. So Rhonda's got a training, a master class, a webinar happening today. So you can jump on that. Or she's so generously has offered to just send her an email and she'll send you the replay. So do that. I'm for sure getting the replay, and I'm going to try and be on there for that live masterclass. I think you're brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing today. And I have a question for you. I actually have a couple of questions. I forgot to prep you, so
that's
forgive
okay.
me
I'm good as long as you don't ask my age or my weight. I'm totally good.
of course. So, so what is a book that you've read that had great impact on your life? And it can't be the Bible. It has to be.
You know, you're going to laugh because it's a very old book, and I actually met the author. It's a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers. And Susan Jeffers and I both taught at the Learning Annex. I'm really dating myself because it doesn't exist anymore. But that book, it was such a powerful book for me. I really love that. And the other book that I love is The Power of Habit. That's another one. And then, of course, there's always my favorite, Hal Elrod, The Morning Miracle. So I'd say those are my favorites. But I think the book that had the most impact on me was Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. It's a very old book, and I still have it yellowed, highlighted everywhere. I love Susan Jeffers, her story, her candor, and because if we don't go through the fear, we never get where we want to go.
Did did she have cancer? Was
She
that
did.
I
She
know
did.
I do know her then. Okay.
Yeah, and she used to tell the story that when her husband traveled, she would actually take the prosthesis, her best breast prosthesis. That's easy for me to say, and put it in her husband's suitcase so he would feel close to her.
Love
And
it.
yeah, I mean, she's just like a woman with humor, and it's sadly that she passed away. But I remember when she spoke, I went and met her because I was so enthralled with the book. So yeah,
I
that's been a powerful one for me.
I learned about her from actually my mom was the first to talk about her. And my mom really didn't have many inspirations, but that really moved her. So yeah, I watched all about her. I read her book. So great ones. And you've got a book coming out soon. So excited for that. We're gonna meet again after that's all out. And
That's my
what
face reading book. Yeah.
oh, fabulous. And the other question is tell us something about you that people might not know about you.
Oh my gosh. Well, you already know I married the same guy twice, but maybe you didn't know that I was actually voted best dressed in ninth grade. I told you I had a black belt in shopping, and I was 5'11" by the time I was 12 years old,
Oh,
and I always loved clothes. So they voted me best dressed when I was in, I think it was like seventh grade or something. So
that's fabulous.
nobody knows that, but now you guys all know my secret.
Okay. I love that. Yeah, we're yeah, two peas in a pod. We've got a lot of synchronicities. Thank you so much for everything that you've shared today. Thank you for all the viewers that have participated, that are leaving your comments. And if you're watching on the replay, do leave your questions because Rhonda is going to make sure that you get the information that you're asking for. And I'm here with the brilliant, the beautiful Rhonda Schur, creator of the Schur Method, and she is the LinkedIn diva. I think you're a bit of a diva anyways, and I think it's that inner diva that makes us connect. I love that. So thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Yeah, you're welcome. And so, yes, for those who are signing on just now, coming in live, catch on the replay and make sure Rhonda is doing a live masterclass very soon today.
Today at 1 o'clock, actually, Pacific time,
Yeah,
and you can
absolutely.
find the link. It's on Eventbrite, so you can find it there.
And it's posted below. It's posted below here too, and we'll make sure it gets into the platforms where we're live streaming to.
Yeah, we almost have 500 people registered for today, so it's going to be
Well,
pretty awesome.
and that's, you know what, that we spoke about that. That's the thing I'll say in closing is that you're absolutely on to something that is, you know, part of the pulse of what's happening and is being asked for, people are looking for out there. So there's power in what it is that you're teaching. So I hope viewers are getting in with you.
Yeah, and one of the things too that I do is I learned this from my mentor Joel Bauer. I pull back the curtain. So, if you think the slides that are in my PowerPoint are cool, I actually give you the person who does them. I share that with you. If you like the testimonials that are done professionally, I share the person that creates that. And they're all vetted and they're all really reasonably priced. They're, amazing people. And if I have a resource, I'm going to share it.
Well, there you go. I love that, and that's another thing that we have in common is because this is how we all come into community. This is all how we create community. So thank you, Rhonda, for being a diva and a great citizen,
Thank you.
sharing to your fellow entrepreneurs. So thank you so much, and we'll see you again. We'll see you on the masterclass.